Hello, this is Robin Foss, and welcome to my next page sketch demo, Stitched and Stripped Tucked Pics. It is a 12 by 12 two-page spread designed for hinged lay-flat binding. This page sketch demo will feature the straight cutter, the shape cutter, the outliner tool, the custom shadow, straight line paths, tilting photos, using ruler tabs and alignment guides to design your pages. And one of the straight line paths that we're going to make will have changed the stroke to the stitching pattern. Let's look at a couple sample pages. This is the first time I made this page. I filled the strips with paper and I added on some overlays to add some depth, repeating this overlay over here and on the second page. I added embellishments or shape to the open places along the border to add interest. And also notice that I had more pictures than story, and so I changed the journaling to more photo openings and carried that over into a similar pattern over here, and that's where I put my story. So just remember to make the templates your own when you're designing. Next sample page, again, I needed more photo openings, so I adjusted the photo grid to fit the pictures that I had, and then added another big picture down here. Okay, let's go to Artisan 6. Right now we're in a two-page view, so I'm going to go to a trim view with current binding. Later on, we're going to need the page outlines on, so let's go ahead and do that. Do guides, and change the outlines instead of showing nothing to show both page and trim outlines. We're going to be using rulers, and so we want to make sure it's set to show and snap to lines. So page outlines, show and snap to lines. Okay? Alrighty, let's move to our directions. We're going to start by working on the angled strip border, and we're going to insert a shape. So insert tab, content section shape, rectangle. The size is 3 by 3. And then the fill is going to be any solid color, so I'll leave the blue alone. And then we're going to have a stroke of none. And then create. Next, we're going to use the straight cutter to cut a diagonal cut. And so we go to cut ribbon, straight edge. It says it's going to flatten it, and that's okay. We're just going to angle it so it's at a diagonal cut. So you can play around with what you want it to look like, and I'll tell you what numbers I used. I used 68 degrees, and then we're supposed to slide the cutter down so that it's even with this bottom left corner. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing a little better. Grab the crosshairs, slide the cutter down. You want it even with the bottom. We want to keep the top or the shaded area. So we'll keep the shaded and cut. Sometimes when you cut, there's a little debris, so you just kind of make sure there's nothing there. So let's move back up so we can see the top. Select your piece, go straight edge. We want to go 68 degrees again, or whatever degree that you did. This time we're sliding up, so the cutter is even with the top right corner. And we want to keep what's below the cut, and that time, now it's unshaded. So keep the unshaded, that's correct. Cut. We'll hit save. I'm going to click away. I don't see any debris, anything kind of left over from my two cuts. That's great. So let's zoom out. Select. We're going to add a custom shadow to this. So we'll go Format tab, Shadows, Custom. In the simple shadow section, I want a heavy shadow, so it's the dark arrows, and I want it to go straight up, so I hit this up arrow. And you can see it added the shadow, and you hit OK. Now I want to copy and paste it 7 times. You can always do Control-C, Control-V, or right-click, copy, right-click, paste. I like to go to the Home tab, copy, and I'm going to paste it 7 times. I'll hit save. We're going to continue to work on this angled strip border by placing the borders and layering them on the left-hand side of the page. So we want to select the bottom strip. So we're going to work in the Elements panel here on the left side of the page. Click on the bottom strip, and we're going to key in the location. So we'll click in the X, and we want that to be 0, and the Y is negative 1.195. Now we'll work our way up. So the next strip up, we'll hold down Shift and click the one that's up here. We're going to kind of repeat this pattern over and over till we get all of these down. We're going to center it. So up here on the quick access toolbar, we're going to center it vertically and horizontally, then click away. You select up here, it'll pick the top one, and then we're going to hit Control and down arrow. Now I'm going to say the first time I did this, it took 7 arrows, the second time 5, and the third time 7. So we're going to arrow down between 5 and 7 times until it's all the way near the bottom, but no white is showing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do one more time, white showing, so we only want 7. So now we know it's 7, and I can't tell you why sometimes it did one way and other times it did another. So now we want to take this one, and we're going to hold down Shift and center it with the last one that we placed. So center, center, click away, top one, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next one up, Shift, click, center, center, click away, click, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next one, Shift, click, center, center, click away, click, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then work next one up, Shift, click, center, center, click away, click, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next one up, Shift, click, hit center and center, click away, click, and then Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. The last one, Shift, click, center, center, click away, click, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very repetitive, but we get everything aligned and spaced out evenly. Okay, step 11, where we're going to cut the extra. So if I were to change my view to all and zoom out, let's zoom out to 50%. See this extra? We don't need that. And this is also why we did the lines on the page, because it'll show easier. So we want to select all of the shapes. I'm holding down Shift. I'm selecting all the shapes. We'll go to Cut, Shapes. Square is correct, and I want the size to be 3 by 12. And then I'm going to slide it until it's aligned with the outside of the left side of the page, which the green lines have lit up. And I want to keep the area inside the cut. And if you need to, down here in the visibility, you can lower that down, and this will help you see those page lines better. I want to keep the unshaded, that's correct, and cut. All right, we'll hit Save. Step 12, we go to the Insert tab, Outliner. Okay, sometimes this happens where you can see this has a weird shape, but the rest of them look straight. So if that happens, and I'm glad it happened on the video, we're going to right-click, Shape, Edit Shape, hover over the kind of wonky little line, right-click, Make Straight. Great. Okay, so now Shift-click on all of your outliners. We want to add that same shadow we had before, so the system's going to remember that for us. We go to Format tab, Custom, and it remembers the most recent one. I click on that. So sometimes this happens, and I'm glad it happened on camera. So each time it's different. You see how the shadow's not showing? So we need this one to be on the bottom. So we slide it down. And then this one needs to be just above it. And this one just above that. And kind of keep doing that process. Sliding them down. You can see the shadows are appearing as I do that. So basically, your top strip should be on the bottom and then progressively up so that the shadows show. Also, I forgot when I had them selected, another step you should do is to remove the stroke. We'll go up here, Stroke, None. And we'll select the shapes. And you might be wondering why we did the outliner. So let me show you why. Let's pull this one up to the top so you can see it. Let's zoom in. So let's say when I'm making my page, I actually want there to be a stroke on this. Let's see what happens when I add a stroke. Let's make it thick so you can really see. It goes around the bounding box and not the strip. I'm going to delete that. So now let's click on this strip that we did with the outliner, and we'll do 4-point. It follows the outline of the strip. So that's why we use the outliner tool. Hit save. So I deleted those original shapes where we're going to fill each of these strips with an alternating shade of gray. And you can do that in any shade of gray that you want. I'll just show you the ones that I use, and I'll show you a couple of different ways to fill it. So you can right click, fill, solid color, or up on the quick access toolbar, solid color, and then you can pick the color. If you look at your handout, another time-saving tip that you can do is you can select the two that are going to be the same color. So like say in my handout, the lightest one is the bottom one, and then 4 up. 1, 2, 3, hold shift 4. I can hit fill, solid color, and the lightest color I used was a medium light gray, which was 4 from the left. And then we just repeat moving up. So I'm going to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, solid color. This is just a time-saving tip instead of having to repeat this process. So 6 from the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next one up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Solid color, and we're doing 5 from the right. And the next one's just a little bit darker. Solid color. 4 from the right. So that's just a little time-saving tip, is you can select 2, do the quick access toolbar, and fill it. Let's save. We're working on the stitching neck, and we're going to click the ruler tab at the top of the work area, and then right-click and set position to 3. You can see right here, tab position, and I can delete and hit OK, and now it's along the line of those strips. All right, so next, let's probably zoom out a little bit so you can see that a little better. Let's go out 50 degrees. See how I can see the line a little better now?
Now that we have the ruler tab in, this line will help us place the line, which will be our stitching across the edge of these strips. So we go Insert tab, Line, which is in the other section, Straight Line or Path, and then we just click anywhere above the page and below the page. Then over here in this section, Stroke from an art kit, we want to go to the built-ins, the strokes, and then stitching 1 and select stroke. And then we want to change the size to be 3/16, and the color goes solid color, black, OK, and create. There. If I click away, you can see the stitching now. And I want to get rid of my ruler tab. So I'm going to go right click, remove all tabs. We'll zoom back in. I'll hit save. Okay, we're going to do the background, super easy. Click on the background, right click, fill, solid color. We're going to choose 3 from the left, OK, save. Now we're going to work on the tucked photos. So we go to the Insert tab, Empty Frame, select on the photo. First we're going to add the width and height. So go up here to the quick access toolbar and we'll type it in, 2.45, 2.65. Then we're going to go to Photo, Customize, Add an Effect, Insert a Frame Cutout Matte. We'll start by changing the color of the matte fill. Go Solid Color, White, OK. The width will change to 3 and the relief will change to 1. And we'll say OK. We're going to give it a heavy shadow and make a couple copies. So Format tab, Heavy, Home tab, Copy, Paste, Paste. Next we're going to place these photos and we're going to add a tilt. So a couple of different ways that you can add a tilt. And the first one I wanted tilted to the left, so you can grab this circle here, this green circle, it's a handle to tilt. And so you can just eyeball it and do that. Or if you wanted to set an exact tilt, go Properties, and you can set the angle. And my example has a -5, so we can leave that. We'll say OK. And then our directions tell us that we want it centered on these strips, and we want it down enough so the bottom is just below the third strip. So grab Alignment Guides. It's centered. The bottom we want just below that third strip. And I noticed that I didn't change the view back here, so let's do that. View, Trim, Current Binding. That'll just help us see where it's cutting off. And so once you kind of get it in this general area, you can play around with tilting it and moving it up and down. The next direction is to tuck it. And to do that, we slide it down. So we go down until it's below that strip. So now it's tucked. And then you can click away and see if you like how it looks, if you need to slide it to the left or right or up or down. And once you're happy, go to the next one. This one I want tilted to the right. I did a +4, but again, whatever looks good to you. And you can set it by going right-click Properties, or you can just eyeball it. Then we want it to be under the 5th from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to center and then kind of eyeball it. We want that bottom to go underneath there. Now to tuck it, again, we drag it down. That's tucked. Click away. You know, if you like it, good. If you don't, adjust it with your arrows or maybe tilt it differently. The bottom one, tilt to the left, or you can right click and do Properties. We want 2 from the bottom. We want it around this space. So I'm centering it, going just below. Now to tuck it, we have to go to the Elements panel. And then I don't like how it's so close to the edge. So I'm going to click on it, tilt it back just a little bit, right arrow, OK, looks good, hit Save. We're going to create a mirrored page 2 and then add in the remaining elements on the 2 pages. So to do that, we go to the Pages panel, drop-down menu, insert a mirrored image of this page. It drops it in before, because it's inserting it. Insert goes before. Slide to the right. And now we go to View, Spreads, 2 bound pages. All right, that looks good. So the left page, we're going to add a large photo, an accent line, and 2 text boxes. Let's start by going to the Insert tab, Empty Frame. We'll select it. We're going to give it a custom shadow. So go Format, Custom, and then I'm going to tell you the numbers, and you just tab in between. So it's starting with the depth. We're going to do 5. Tab to softness, do 51. Tab to expansion, do 19. Tab to density, do 23. Tab to direction, do 90. Oh, one more tab, 90, and then OK. So it gives you that all-around shadow. We're going to set the location and size on the Quick Access toolbar. 3.598, 0.5, 7.351, 5.142. So now we're going to add in the accent line. To prep for that, I'm going to put in 3 different ruler tabs. One on the left side is at 7.26. Set position, 26, OK. And at the top, I want to have it at 4.5 and 10. We'll set position, OK. Right click, set position, do 4.5. OK. So now we're doing another line. This time we're not going to add stitches. It's just going to be a solid line. So we're going to go Insert, Other Section, Line, Straight Line or Path. And I'm going to zoom in. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and change the size of the stroke. And do it at 2. Now, these lines make it very easy. I can just put my dot in the intersection of the 2 lines and my dot in the intersection of the 2 lines. So if you've had too much coffee and you can't do lines very well, Sometimes this helps. There we go. And then we'll hit create. And then I'm going to get rid of my line. So right click, remove all tabs. Right click, remove all tabs. Let's zoom out, click away, and save. Next, we're going to add text. So we're going to go to the Insert tab, Text. As far as the font goes, you just want a journaling font, size 16 to 20, and want it centered in the box. Sizing wise, we're going to slide it down so the top of it is even with the line. The left side is even with the photo above. The right side is even with the photo above, and then there's about a 1/4 inch below here. We'll hit create, save. Next, we're going to do a title. Same process, but it's going to be larger, and I'm going to do a script font. So insert text, do a script font, and in my example, I use Magnolia Sky. And I suggest 48 to 64, and in my example, I used 56. And then sizing wise, I recommend that you, even with the outside of that photo, the top is even with the bottom, and then the bottom is even with the line. However, on some of your fonts, what's going to happen is, let's go ahead and type something in there so you can kind of see it. It doesn't look right. So we'll hit create, and you can see how it's stuck at the top. And so some fonts you might need to adjust. I'm holding down Shift to unlock my aspect ratio and slide it down until visually it looks evenly spaced in the area. So just play with it. So you might want to type in title just so you can see how it's going to look. We'll hit save. We're moving over to the right page to do the photo grid. Before we do, let's click on this photo and we're going to copy it so we don't have to do all the settings. Go to the right page, paste. Now we're going to use more ruler tabs. The left ruler tabs are at 0.5 and 11.5. Right click, set position, and right click, set position. Okay. And the top is at 1 and 8.5. So let's confirm those locations. Whoops, that's not what I want. There we go. Set position, we want it 8.5. Okay, and 1. Set position, 1. Perfect. All right, we're going to slide it up so it aligns with the top left corner of those ruler tabs. And then we're going to set the size, 3.674 and 2.453. I want to go Home tab, copy, and I'm going to paste it 3 times. Yep, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab one of those and we're going to change the size to be more of a portrait kind of layout. 2.21 and a height of 3.185. We'll grab it and slide it to the bottom corner of these ruler lines. Then we'll take these extra pieces and we're going to align them on the left side, and we want everything kind of evenly spaced. So you might have to play around with it a little bit until it looks pretty close. And then what I would do is I would use spacing tools on the quick access toolbar to double check. So click, shift, click, 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 holding down shift the whole way. And then we want to go left align and spacing evenly. And then we're going to group. So I'm in the Home tab. I can just do group, group. And then I'm going to space it down to this ruler tab. So I just grab the resizing handle, slide it down. See the green alignment lines come up. We let go. And then we're going to go copy and paste and drag it over to the right side of this space that we've created with those ruler lines. And then we'll ungroup, click away. We're going to do click on this first one, shift click on any of these on the right side, and do right align. Okay, let's hit save. I'm going to select this left hand side and we're going to ungroup, click away, click one of these. We're going to copy and paste, so we can do Control C, Control V if you want. and then using the alignment guides and those ruler tab lines, and then we slide. See, now my aspect ratio of new elements is locked, so the whole thing resized bigger instead of just expanding to the right and left. I'm going to hit undo, right click, aspect ratio, unlock. Now I can slide it. There we go. And if I want to make sure that I'm guaranteeing it's centered on these two pieces, I can click on them, shift click, I can group. So now this new shape that's grouped is the width of the photo grid. Click on the first one, shift click on that group, and then I can center it. It's pretty darn close. I am going to play with it just a little bit. See if I can get it where I like it better. Okay, so now I need to ungroup that bottom section. Okay, so I kind of noticed when I was playing with this that the shadows get off a little bit when you're copying and pasting. So I want to fix that. So I'm going to click on this one, shift click on that same row. We'll go to the Arrange tab, move to front, and then click, shift click, move to front, click, shift click, move to front, and click, shift, click, click, move to front. All right, that all looks good to me. We'll remove our ruler tabs, remove our ruler tabs. All right, that's it. So once we get that pesky little glitch with saving templates out of Artisan 6 fixed, then the next step would be to save this as a template. And I typically start on the right page, and I go up here to File, Save As, Export Current Page, and then I browse to whatever I have my templates saved. I have a place called Robin's Templates, so you would have already, and then down here you would name it. So I usually say use the same name as the sketch so it's easy to find and remember. So this one I would name Stitches and Strips, Tucked Pics, 12 by 12, which is the size, a number of photo openings, 12 PO, and then R for right. And I repeat, and I do File, Save As, Export Current Page, and then I name it Stitches and Strips, Tucked Pics, 12 by 12, 4 PO, and then L for left. And PO again is photo openings. And for more information about the glitch, feel free to watch the video that's in the Forever album for this sketch party. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.